Hey, what's going on, everybody? You got Dustin here with DFS Dads. I'm going to be bringing you some of our top plays for the week for NFL Week 8 DFS season, both on DraftKings and FanDuel. If you haven't already, go check us out, dfsdads.com. Got NBA going, got MLB. We still do some showdowns with Timmy, obviously NFL, golf. Come check us out, have a lot of fun, and make that money. All right, so we're going to jump right into it. Main slate for Sunday. I think the top cash play here at QB is going to be Jalen Hurts. He has a great floor. 22 DK points has been his lowest output of the season. And while he may not be the best QB, NFL QB, he is great for fantasy purposes because he rushes the ball a lot. He is basically involved in the entire offense. Going up against Detroit, 21st against the run, 22nd against the pass, so they're not very good on defense. Good over-under, about 48, 49. They have a pretty good advantage in both the run and pass as far as their O-line is concerned. And Sanders is out, so, they don't run the ball a whole lot to begin with, so even less. So I love Hurts here as a cash play. GPP play, Joey Burrows. The Bengals offense can explode. We saw that last week against Baltimore, who, has a pretty good D. They've been playing well, and they absolutely lit them up, especially in that second half. Jamar Chase, obviously a huge game. Jets are bottom 9 defense. They're pretty much bad against run and pass. They haven't really faced any prolific passing offenses. Obviously New England twice, but the best passing team on paper that they've played is Atlanta. And Matty Ice for 342 yards and a couple touchdowns. Obviously, this Bengals offense is a little more explosive. T. Higgins, obviously the aforementioned Chase. And so they have a ton of potential for big plays. And Burrows has 2 more pass TDs in every game this year. So, obviously been playing way better of late. Last 4 games, he's really been slinging it. So we like him for a GPP play. Moving on down to running backs, one of my favorites this week from a volume standpoint is James Robinson. 6,600 on DraftKings and 8,200 on FanDuel. The thing you like about him here is that he's a 3-down back, not really coming out of the game. Jacksonville's actually 10th in the league in rushing offense. And so obviously, James Robinson's the big part of that. The line obviously can run block. And then you got Seattle on the flip side, who's 30th in rush defense. So, that's a good combo right there. Seattle gives up 32.5 on DraftKings and 27.5 on FanDuel per game against opposing running backs. So you like James Robinson, like I said, being the 3-down back to have most of those points. So if he gets anywhere near that, then we're talking a very nice game. He averages 20 touches over the last 4 games, and he has 5 touchdowns in that span. So obviously things are trending right for him. I think you get him at a good price given his volume and how that team runs the ball. My other running back going a little lower, it's going to be pretty popular. Mitchell for San Francisco. Clear-cut lead back last week, looked really good, explosive. He has 200-yard rushing games in the 4 games that he's played this year. Chicago obviously is a bad offense. They are not very good, which should lead to more opportunities for San Francisco. They want to establish the run. Mitchell's going to be that guy to do that. They are 23rd against the run. Chicago is. They've had some teams really running all over them at certain points this year. So I love Mitchell, especially at 5,400 and 5,800 respectively, DraftKings, FanDuel. All right, moving down to receivers. Have a couple guys I really like, and if you've been with us, my first one will be no shock to you, especially for a cash double up type contest, and that's Keenan Allen. He's 6,500 on DraftKings, 69 on FanDuel, 56 targets through 6 games, so just about 10 per. Had 1 week where he didn't have many, kind of an outlier. So he's going to get at least 10 targets every week. One of the higher passing offenses as far as volume with the with the LA Chargers. He gets about 10.7 yards per catch. So you can expect 10 targets. He has about a 75% catch rate. So you're looking at a floor of, 7-8 catches for 70, 80 yards, which is, almost 3x just on yards alone. Obviously touchdown upside. 15 red zone targets and only 1 TD. So to me, you got to kind of revert. Okay, he hasn't got as many touchdowns, but he has the volume. So, things should start to correlate there and the TD volume pick up. So here's a key nugget here for Keenan Allen. The only good passing team that New England has faced was Dallas. Go Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb absolutely roasted them. Same type of use in the offense as Keenan Allen. Amari Cooper, more Mike Williams. Have Zeke as the Eckler, and then Keenan Allen as the CD. He had 9 catches for 149 yards, 2 TDs. Dak threw for 445 yards. And so, you like things there in the air for the Chargers. Even though on paper, New England kind of seems like they're pretty decent, but they faced the Jets twice. They faced, I forget who else it was, but a couple other really bad passing teams. My next receiver, Godwin, 64, DK, 72, FanDuel, just really solid guy. I love him here for double ups again. Obviously, either one of these guys you can play in pretty much any format, but Godwin, 42 receptions on 54 targets. So there's very high catch percentage, which you like to see because, he's getting a little less volume than, say a Keenan Allen, but he catches a ton. He's averaging 12.38 yards per catch. He has 22 red zone targets and has caught 40% of them, meaning 20 yards and in. So he's looked for a lot down there. Has 6 end zone targets on the year, so about 1 a game, which you like to see. The key here is, the Lattimore Evans saga that seems to happen every year. They go at it. So you expect Lattimore to kind of line up on him more. You have Antonio Brown out. Gronk might be back. I think he practiced in full at least once on Thursday. And so New Orleans has a pretty good run defense. So you expect Godwin just to be the guy there, as far as the underneath stuff, getting peppered. So, another game like he had last week, 10 catches, touchdown, hopefully. Really like him for his price point. Probably pretty high owned this week. My low play, one of my favorites here, and Timmy hates this guy, but Cole Beasley. He's only 4,900 on DraftKings, 61 on FanDuel. Actually, second on Buffalo's team in targets, right? So he has 41. We know they're very high passing, lethal offense. And you also have Knox that just got put on IR. And so that vacates some of his throws. The backup tight end there, might get a couple catches, but he's not going to see Knox's volume. So you like Beasley to kind of absorb most of those, given his how he's used in the offense. So he has a very low ADOT, which is average depth of target of a little over 5. And so he's used, very quick, short passes, which is fine, right, for a guy that's under 5K and, gets a lot of volume. He's kind of been sporadic on his volume. Some games he'll get, 12 or 13, and others he gets 3 or 4. But with Knox gone, and Miami's secondary terrible and probably focused on Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders beating him over the top, I really like Beasley here, especially given his price point. Miami 30th in pass defense. He's got a 70% plus matchup rating according to PFF as far as individual matchups against the cornerbacks. And Miami gives up a ton of points to wide receivers, 44.2 and 35.7 per game to wide receivers. All right, I'm going to give you a tight end that I like, a cheap one. By the way, go read our deep dive. If you're not a member, sign up. These are a couple of our key plays, but we have others that we list to give you an idea of how you want to build your lineup, because sometimes you can't sit certain players based on what route you go. Hunter Henry, 4,200. DK, 55. FanDuel. Hasn't had a ton of volume the last couple of weeks, but he's caught a couple touchdowns. What I love this week is the Chargers are second worst against the tight end. The only team worse than them is Baltimore. They've given up 20.3 FanDuel points and 16.3, or 20.3 DK points and 16.3 FanDuel points per game to the tight end. Hunter Henry is second on the team in targets. He leads the team in touchdown receptions, 3 for 3 on end zone targets this year. And he has the best individual matchup of all tight ends, according to PFF, for the main slate, plus 45%. I would say the guy's last name that he goes up against, but I can't pronounce it. Some crazy name. And then for our punt defense, we're going to go to the Washington football team. They're only 2,100. Their secondary is absolutely garbage, but they do get sacks, averaging about 3 sacks the last couple of weeks. Playing Denver, pretty low over/under. You got Bridgewater, who's, the Denver offense isn't super explosive outside of Sutton there. So you just like the opportunity for the Washington football team to, possibly get a strip 6, or, force a pressure on Bridgewater and get a return. I mean, I obviously think they'll be in the positive, given their ability to rush the passer. And there's just a lot of upside, especially at 2,100 on DraftKings. All right, guys, that's the rundown for the dads. Come check us out, like I said, dfsdads.com.